Jade Helm 15 extended till November. FEMA going door to door in groups of 8 in Texas. Officer speaks out of Obama's purge upon U.S. military, warns of Hillary in 2016. With FEMA now going door to door in Spring, Texas, in groups of 8, as shared in the brand new second video below, asking about storm damage, All News Pipeline will share with you a note below from one of the readers in Sindog, Texas, who recently had the opportunity to speak with the Texas sheriff about Jade Helm 15. What the sheriff told our readers and what he didn't tell our readers made our hair stand up on end. Jade Helm 15 may be extended till November, and it may consist of martial law. We also took a look at a letter from a U.S. military officer to his representative in Washington, D.C., French Hill, about Barack Obama ongoing dismantling of the U.S. military and what would be coming next should Hillary Clinton somehow win in 2016. In a sketching letter published on gradegov.com called "Wake Up You Elected Leaders, This is exactly why we Americans elected you, to make sure this will never happen in a free society, and a president that uses his power as in a fascism manner. With this officer warns us may be coming next under a Hillary Clinton administration is warning that all of us need to read. Additionally, Aaron Wilson recently had the opportunity to interview retired U.S. Navy Admiral Ace Lyons about the 2016 litmus test. The video is the first one below. All News Pipeline reader Stacy White, who has recently published 2 YouTube videos featuring low-flying B-52s over Big Springs, Texas, recently had the opportunity to speak with Snyder Sheriff, whom they know personally, in a local tractor supply store. Stacy's note to us below. I talked to the sheriff when I was in a tractor supply store and confronted him on Jade Helm 15. He told me Jade Helm 15 won't be ending September, it's ending late November. He also wouldn't look me in the eyes answering questions. He focused on something else when he answered. I personally know him, so the way he answered things is like saying it but not saying it. He said they are saying it's for the coming martial law. I asked him who they are, but he wouldn't say. He did tell me that the government has been calling him and telling him to disregard reports of black SUVs with 3 or more people. They are here to test radio communications throughout several areas in town, he told me, looking away. They are not telling him much, but he is in constant contact with the SO in Big Springs about it. He said, I don't think it will be going on here, but you never can tell since they're not giving much info. I also asked him why DHS was here in the United Supermarket parking lot. He looked away again, said, I wasn't aware they were. His expressions, body language, and such showed his uneasy, untrusting answers, but was willing to give small hints that it's bad crap, as he knows way more than he is telling me. While All News Pipeline was not at that conversation to document its authenticity, we have requested an interview be arranged with said sheriff so that we can get this documentation of Jade Helm 15 being extended 2 additional months. Meanwhile, a request has been made to help spread this letter below from a U.S. military officer far and wide. We are replenishing it in full below. And it goes on to say, General Officer, a must-read. I believe it goes well beyond merely Obama. I think there is an unwritten dogma within the senior ranks of the Democratic Party that calls for the establishment of an armed forces who will be loyal to the president and not the U.S. Constitution. Give Hillary Clinton 8 years to put her goons in place, and that transformation will be complete. Then you'll have an armed forces that will confiscate personally owned firearms ignore posse comitatus, etc. They are more concerned with building a force to control the U.S. population than they are defending the nation. Today's Democratic Party has no semblance to FDR, Truman, or JFK. They're not liberal, they are progressive, which is only a politically accepted term for socialist communist. Pull up the Socialist Communist USA platform and compare it with the Democratic Party platform. Someone is copying somebody. They are far too similar to be a coincidence. And I'll stop right there and suggest that you go ahead and pull up that report and you will see the similarity to it. You can just Google it. And it goes on to say, warrior leaders of General Patton or General LeMay's statues are no longer wanted. The fundamental job of the military, kill bad people and break their things, has become seriously hampered critically now by rules of engagement whose guiding logic is political, not successful combat. If the U.S. military is ever defeated, it will be because it is running the best daycare centers in the world. We used to go to the Officers Club or NCO Club Star Bar on Friday evening to have a drink, smoke, and swap lies with our comrades. Having a drink with friends is now frowned on. Smoking causes cancer and might harm you. Bars are seen as sexist. Our personnel have quit patronizing their clubs because what happens in the club is now fodder for a performance report. In fact, we don't have separate clubs for the ranks any longer. Instead, we have something called all ranks clubs or community clubs. They're open to men and women of all ranks, but no one is there. I wonder why. Excuse me. The latest brilliant thought out of Washington is that operators flying remotely pilotless vehicles, drones, in combat areas from their workstations inside air-conditioned trailers at duty stations in Nevada or Arizona should draw the same combat pay as real-world pilots actually aboard aircraft in hostile environment. More politically correct logic. Now they're saying these same RPVs operators are subject to the same stress levels as combat pilots actually flying in combat. Is this idiotic comment actually intended to be a statement of fact? Where are people like the dynamic leaders of the past, Robin, Olds, Doolittle, Patton, Ike, Nimitz, etc.? They're identified and forced out. This administration does not want those kind of leaders. Division commanders don't run divisions and corps commanders don't run corps. Can you imagine someone looking for a leader to execute the Doolittle raid and suggesting that it be given to an educated daredevil boozer, excuse me, whose chief attributes where he had the respect of his men, an awesome ability to fly, and the organization skills to put it together? Add to the foregoing incredible level of courage. If so, I would tell them they were either a liar or dumber than a brick. We've lost the war on rugged individuals, and that, unfortunately, is what frightening forces want to follow. Not because they have to, but because they respect true leaders. We've all run across the kind of leaders that made us proud to follow him because you wanted to be like him and make a difference. We'd better wake up. We're asking our young men and women to go to really crappy places, some with unbearable climates, never have a drink, and adhere to ridiculous regulations that require you to tuck your shirt into your PT uniform on the way to the porta potty at night in a blinding dust storm because it's the uniform. The people we're sending to combat are now some of the brightest I've met, but they're looking for a little sanity, which they will only find on the outside if we don't get a damn clue. If we don't give a damn clue. You can't continue asking people to live for months or years at a time, acting like nuns and priests. Even they get to have a beer once in a while. Who are afraid of offending? These people that already hate us enough to strap C4s to their own bodies and walk into a crowd of us. Think about it. I'm massively proud of our young men and women who continue to serve. I'm also very in tune with what they're considering for the future, and I've got news for whoever sits in the White House, Congress, and our so-called executive level military leaders. Much talent has and will continue to hemorrhage from our services because our warriors are tired of fighting on two fronts, one with our enemies, the other with the lack of sensible direction from this administration. Take it or leave it. That's just the way it is. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Since Barack Obama has been in the White House, high-ranking military officers have been removed from their positions at a rate that is absolutely unprecedented. Things have gotten so bad that a number of retired generals are now publicly speaking out about the purge of the U.S. military they believe is taking place. Dozens of highly decorated military leaders have been dismantled from their positions over the past few years. Why is this happening? What's going on right now is absolutely insane, especially during a time of peace. There is an ongoing, deliberate attempt to reshape the military and remove those who don't adhere to proper viewpoint. Officers that question or won't cooperate are identified and gotten out of the way. Throughout world history, whoever comes next after a military purge is never good. If this continues, what the U.S. military is going to look like in a few years. Perhaps you're reading this and you think that's purge. The purge is too strong a word for what's taking place. If so, just consider the following quotes from some highly decorated retired officers. Retired Army Major General Patrick Brady, Medal of Honor. There is no doubt Obama is intent on emasculating the military and will fire anyone who disagrees with him. Retired Army Lieutenant General William G. Jerry Boken. Over the past 3 years, the number of four-star generals to be relieved of duty and not relieved for cause has been unprecedented. Retired Navy Captain Joseph John Moore. More than 137 Navy captains have been forced out or given bad evaluation reports so they will never make flag rank because of their failure to comply to certain views. A high Pentagon official who was asked to remain nameless told me even young officers down through the ranks have been told not to talk about Obama or the politics of the White House. They're purging everyone, and if you want to keep your job, keep your mouth shut. This trend appears to be accelerating. The White House is intentionally waking and gutting our military and reducing us as a superpower. Anyone in the ranks who disagrees or speaks out is being identified and forced out. Coincidence? Every dictator regime on the planet has done this as soon as they gain power. I'm doing my part by sending this email. I hope you will do the same. Keep in mind as well that Obama is now on his 4th Secretary of Defense. And it's got a couple videos here that I'll post below. Just why do you think Obama's on his 4th Secretary of Defense? What matters most to Obama? What appears to be his main highlights? You be the judge, friends. Maybe once the military is completely reduced to nothing and all our enemies have taken over the country, maybe your eyes will be open then. But sadly, it'll be too late for us. Good luck, progressives. Thank you for listening. This is Lori Bulow, and I'll post the link below.